We are live now. Hey everyone, my name is Robert. Welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. I'm joined by the sophisticated man today. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me back, man. Happy to be back.
No, always a blast, man, and thank you for coming on again. This is our first show together
Absolutely.
for the new year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what content and collaborations we can come up with during the year, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot good stuff.
100%, man. I'm pumped.
Rock and roll. So today, guys, we wanted to talk to you about how online dating apps are ruining dating because it can be frustrating for some guys to, go date women or find dates on these online dating apps. And we had talked about doing a show like this on our last stream. I think that we were suggesting that we'll talk about how online dating can be bad. So I'm going to give you the opening statements and we'll get rolling and see what direction we go through.
Sure.
So why would you think online dating is ruining dating and can be frustrating for men? What's up, Riley?
Yeah. What's up, Riley? Thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah, not Riley in Michigan.
Oh, for real. I think I saw that picture, you guys. But yeah, I mean, my opinion, why it's ruining dating overall, I think it's just because it creates. One of the reasons is it creates that precedent. Like, hey, if I don't like somebody, I can just immediately, swipe left on them, and like it kind of ruins the idea of, like, if you do want a long-term relationship, it's easy to say, oh, I'm just going to move on from this person because you're so used to swiping left, swiping right. It's so like easy and convenient that
Mhm.
if there is a problem in the relationship, usually nowadays, like especially people my age, they don't talk it out. They don't work through it. They kind of just like, oh, I'm just going to ghost this person and move on and like never talk to them again. So
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons I see it. It creates a lot of ease to just like ghost people and just like never reach out.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think it, gives, I don't know, like it gives both guys and girls kind of more options. And I think,
Yeah,
when it comes to how many people, I think there's more guys on these dating apps than women. Therefore, it gives
totally.
the women a lot more options the guys to choose from.
Hmm.
And so they can go out with a guy, but and still be talking to like several other guys, even
Hmm.
like on a first date. And I think sometimes too, some women, I think try to get just like a free meal or date out of it.
Yeah.
I've had some experiences in my past where I said, well, let's grab a drink, and a woman was like, well, let's have dinner. And then when I didn't want to say, and you know me, you know how I am about dinner on our first date, and until I
Uh-huh.
really get to know someone. Um, but so then like if I say, if I didn't give them what they wanted, then they would say, well, we'll see, and then they never got back to me. So, but
Mm.
there's some guys out there. I think a lot of guys are usually suckered into that. No offense, because they don't have a sense of self. They don't, and they're kind of desperate to hook up with these women,
Mhm.
and they will just actually just pay that take her out for dinner or take her out something expensive when they should be realizing, well, hey, that's just a waste of time. I mean, it's okay to take her out for a drink or ice cream, but not at dinner, because I mean, some girls are trained to like take advantage of guys like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it's super awkward, especially for a first date. You don't want to be spending like a lot of money on someone that you don't even know, for the first time you meet someone. And I agree. Like, I think a great first date is get a quick drink or get some ice cream, or sometimes I've even taken girls on like a walk in the park, like something very inexpensive. You just can connect and get to know who they are. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of girls out there that they have the premium Snapchats, they got the OnlyFans, and they use dating apps as a way to kind of get clients that way. Like, oh, sign up for this, sign up for that. And they're not really looking to meet anybody. They just want to increase their bank account.
Right.
Um,
Oh, I've seen that a lot on, especially mostly on Tinder. I've seen that a little bit
yeah.
on Facebook dating, but on
Hmm.
Tinder, like I've seen that where, sometimes they'll be direct about it in the profile. Like, but if they,
Yeah.
I know of like, if I see it, look me up on my IG or check me out on
Hmm.
Snapchat right away. I know, like, if
Yeah.
I match with a girl like that, I'm not going to waste my time.
Hmm.
Even if she reaches out to me, I even say, well, I don't have to pay for your services. I just like getting
Right.
a game out of it to deal with like it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot, and sometimes though they'll be indirect about that. They'll like, mention it after they kind of build like a connection with the guy, and then the guy sees that, he either might get stringed along or that might frustrate him too.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, I think for guys like, and this has been a problem of mine when I first got on online dating. Like I've been on it since like 2000. God, it's been a long time. 2007. I've
Oh
been
wow,
on it.
the OG.
Um, the first one was the Plenty of Fish, but yeah, like I think a lot of the girls on there. So, anyways, these girls, and I'm going to do a video about this later this week. But these girls just kind of wanted to like a message, and they just wanted my attention. And then like when you'd ask them like after like 100 messages for the date and stuff, because I thought you had to build comfort over like messages
Mm-hmm.
before you can go for a number.
Yeah.
And they can just, and then so a lot of them will just say, well, no, I don't really know you, or I don't give my number out. And then
Mm-hmm.
so then the next step would be we'll try to set up a date, and they'll say, well, we'll see. And you realize, and then when you say, you kind of like let it go, and you're like, okay, and then they still ask, so what are you up to? They just want that attention, I think. So they want that attention that that's non-sexual from guys, because all guys want to give the girls sexual attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. I think a lot of the girls, and I've had the same experience where, a lot of them, they don't even really actually want to go out with somebody. They just want that attention, and they just want a guy to text them or message them back and forth. I found like one of the easiest ways girls do that is like they ask for your Snapchat, and like every time a girl asks for your Snapchat instead of a phone number, she just wants to, she just wants your attention. She just wants validation. She's probably not serious about hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's one thing to look for is like girls that immediately say, "Hey, what's your Snapchat?" or "Do you want to snap?" It's like most likely you're probably never going to see that girl in person because she just, she's not serious about it.
Right. Well, I probably would never see that person anyways because I don't have a Snapchat.
Yeah, right. It
So
helps.
they're like, you don't have Snapchat.
Yeah, you're probably better off.
But I mean, what do you see? Why do you think guys kind of are easily stringed along? I know some guys are aware of that. They have that awareness of that's what these girls are doing. But why do you think they get
Mhm.
stringed along? They ended up getting like frustrated. Why can't they see that at
Mhm.
first?
Maybe just lack of experience, lack of options, I think is a big one. Like if a guy is not getting a lot of attention from women in other avenues, like maybe he has a big social circle or he meets a lot of girls in real life. If he doesn't have that, and if he doesn't have, girls trying to talk to him on social media, then typically it's like they put a lot of energy and they put a lot of investment into things like dating apps, and they pay for like the premium, like the what is it, like Tinder Gold or whatever it's called, like
Yeah.
the premium service, and they go that extra mile because they're not getting it elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and another thing too, like I think, I mean, most of the profiles on there are fake profiles. Anyways, I think that
Oh
like
yeah.
what these dating apps do is they put a lot of fake profiles on there of like attractive, sexy girls, and so the
Hmm.
guy thinks that like there's a lot of options on there, and then I know in some of them they won't even allow you to message them unless you upgrade to the premium feature. So that's how you can like
Right.
string along a guy to like lose his money.
Hmm.
So that's where they get you right there, and like honestly, I'll be honest, I got sucked into that trap once, I
Yeah.
think there was God, this was back in 2015, 16. I forgot the name of it, but I think it was like Adult Friend Finder or something like that.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Um, but I got some messages from some girls. I'm like, okay, I'll spend the $34 because because this is back then when my social skills and with women were very weak in general, and I still lacked confidence in myself. But I went on there and I said I wanted to really I matched with this gorgeous blonde, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, and
Hmm.
so I upgraded to the premium features, and
uh,
we ended up just emailing back and forth. That's how inept I was back then,
mhm.
and turns out she just wanted to do a webcam service.
Cam girls, they're on
Yeah,
there too.
there's a lot of those on the dating
Oh
apps
yeah,
too.
there's a lot of them too. I've seen that before. I mean, it's it's a hit or miss because like the I'll tell you just from my experience. There's very few girls that I've met from a dating app where I felt like there was a really like strong connection and things like would go somewhere. I mean, typically they're either not what I expected when I first saw their profile and they don't look the same, or maybe they're not the exact like the way they described in their bio, or we meet and there's like really no chemistry there. So I'm like, oh well, I'm not really interested past that point. So it's not, I mean, like it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but your chances are pretty slim. Especially if you're looking for a girl who's like higher quality.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and plus too, I mean, so I actually did it's weird because I got this from watching one of the Double Your Dating. Remember David D'Angelo? I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've heard him, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching one of his Double Your Dating videos, and I think it was the internet dating one. And
Hmm.
he said, "Well, you got to set up a dummy profile to see what guys are messaging girls." So I did that.
Yeah.
I did so I set up I picked one. So I did a dummy profile where I had one bombshell blonde, and I swear to God, within I'd say a day, I got 300 emails in one day.
Damn, that's
300
crazy.
emails. Guys offering to take me out to dinner, take me to a football game, take me
Jeez.
to a concert, and then a lot of
Mm.
hellos. And then I did the average looking girl. The average one got a lot of hits, but not as much as the bombshell. The average one got about
Mhm.
100 profiles.
Damn.
And so so I learned something from that. I learned how to like not be, after reading all the emails, how to like not send those common emails that other guys are saying and send
Mhm.
different emails, be more original in my crafting. I
Yeah.
also learned that oh, what's up, Randall? Welcome to the show. But I also learned that you know, girls have a lot of options on these apps, and there's a lot of guys out there who will simp to them. I'm sorry to use that term, but
It's true.
they'll give them free meals and stuff like that because
Yeah.
they think that's what they have to do. And see, when a girl knows that she has that you know, power and that she can get all that attention. Like she can,
Mhm.
I mean, she will take advantage of guys who will get sucked into that, but she'll expect that. And see
Mhm.
from other guys who are wise and confident enough to not have to, take her out, buy her this and that, and then that could be a hindrance because she'll be used to being spoiled.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Like a lot of the girls on there, maybe they've gotten a ton of dates that way and like gotten free meals and gotten maybe flowers and chocolates. I don't know what guys are doing, but it's a great. I mean, the thing about it is, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot more dudes on dating apps than there are women. So they have basically, a pick of whoever they want. Um, and a lot of the times, this is where like it can even affect your confidence sometimes as a man. Like if you're swiping right and you notice that you're not getting a ton of matches, it's not because you're not. You might have a decent profile, but uh, a lot of the times you don't even show up on their queue because if she's a really popular profile on there, she'll get like the the most popular men's profile right away, and she might not even see your profile. So even if you're swiping right and you don't notice that you're matching with a lot of girls, sometimes they don't even get to see it at all.
Right. No, that's
Girls can
true.
see all the guys' profiles.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And Abdel, welcome to the show. And he says, "Hey, gentlemen, just got on. Literally, all my dates are from dating apps." Well, that's good, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad that's working for you. But see, no, and I'll be honest. Most of my dates, like over the past year, have been from dating apps. And but one thing I think it can do too is keep guys from actually going out there
That's right.
and approaching girls in public places. And
Hmm.
that's why a couple years ago, that's why I got on this journey of wanting to be more confident and approach women because I think you can have like more options and you're gonna have more opportunities when you go out there and be confident and you can show a
For
girl you're
sure.
confident. But then if you're constantly going on the online dating apps, sometimes you might be getting success, but since you're having success from there, you might not challenge yourself to look outside of that
Hmm.
genre and then work on that. And
Hmm.
I've admit I've gotten when I've worked being more social, sometimes I get sucked into the online dating world. Yes, it does make, I
Yeah.
will say it does make make it a lot easier, to go out there and, get a date, just swiping left or right and sending a text message back and forth. That really does help out a lot. Um, I guess it saves you energy, but I think too, like, if you challenge yourself to go out there and be more social with
Hmm.
women and approach them, like, you'll grow in confidence, grow in your communication skills, which would help enhance your confidence and your game with women.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you bring that up because that's a major point that I had to learn because like I was in the same boat. Like 90 some percent of my dates in the last year or so have come from dating apps. So like that kind of, I have a decent profile. I worked on my photos, I worked on my bio a little bit. So it's a decent profile. I get like, I don't know, I get a good amount of matches and I've gone
Hmm.
out with a bunch of girls from the apps. And a lot of the times I'd have so many options of where I was like, yo, I don't even have to approach girls in person, or I don't even have to go out and meet girls in real life because like I had options on my phone. But sometimes that can mess with you because you're like, well, I'm just settling for what is easy and what's convenient. And
Hmm.
like you said, it's good to push yourself and get outside of that comfort zone because like if that's all that you know and that's where you're getting most of your success, like that's awesome that you have options like that. But getting in person is like a whole different ball game because right away, within probably a couple seconds if you like this girl, if there's a connection, if there's a vibe, you can pick up on, well, she can pick up on your confidence if it's in person as well. Whether what, if it's on a dating app, she can't really read you that well. You can't really read her that well. So it's honestly just better to do in person. But yeah, I love how you said that. Like it's pushing yourself and making sure that you do what's
Hmm.
outside of your comfort zone because it's
Yeah.
going to drastically increase your confidence.
Exactly. And Abdel says, I've been going out and doing the work. I need more work on the in-person approach. Got a few numbers for sure, but they fall flat. Well, hey, you know what? I'm glad you're going out there and doing the work, but that's what's just going to happen, man. Just,
Yeah.
keep on going. I think when we do our show 2 weeks from now, again, maybe we should talk about how to do a transition from, online dating to approach, how to steps that you can take to,
Yeah.
working on your approach towards women. So be sure to join us 2 weeks for that, Abdel. I'll put it in the chat. Okay, definitely help you with that. But no, you gotta go out there and do the reps. Like I
Hmm.
said, you can't. It's not gonna. There's no overnight success. I wish there was a formula for that. But
Yeah.
the point is, even if you go talk to a girl and nothing happens, you went out there and you took the action, so you can congratulate yourself for that. But the more repetition you do, the more experience you gain, the better you're gonna get your in-person approach is gonna work.
Hmm.
Um, and hey, if you mastered the online dating world, you can master the in-person dating world.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because like those are almost two different skill sets, but in the end, like it's like finding leads. Like you can find leads in many different forms, kind of like a business. So maybe you're really successful finding people through an online source. Maybe work on your in-person approaches now. So it's like it's different skill sets, but it's the same kind of fundamental principles of confidence and attraction and rapport
Hmm.
building and how you talk to women. But it's just kind of like changing it up and seeing what else you can do, what else you can accomplish.
Right. And I think a lot of guys, go to the online because they don't have to worry about that rejection and, in front of
Yeah.
the girl, and they can be more forward with the girl. I mean, I get that, that's weird because like I can be more direct without having to worry if I'm interacting with a girl online compared to
Hmm.
in person. But
Yeah.
really, it's like if you can bring that same confidence into the in-person approach, then yeah, there you go. That's all you got to do. If you like, got to bring that confidence with you. You don't look at even though online dating is different from in-person approach.
Hmm.
The skills are still kind of the same. You just got to break out of your comfort zone and do that.
Hmm. Yeah, right. Like the principles are still the same. Like being confident, leading, knowing how to use humor, playfulness, and all that stuff. It's still there. But like the biggest difference I think is like if you were to approach 100 women and you were to message 100 women on online dating apps, you're more likely to get a better conversion if you go in person, because you get like instant feedback. With dating apps, she might take a day to get back to you, or a week. Maybe she never gets back to you. She just ghosts you. So like in person, if you're gonna get rejected, at least you're gonna know like right away. And if she likes you, you'll know right away too. So it's like, yes, it's scarier. It's a little bit riskier, but I think the reward is better.
Right. Now, fact or fiction? What I mean, saw this on a video the other day, a YouTube video about online dating,
Hmm.
and I'll tell you what I think. But I heard that like when it comes to like apps like Tinder, Bumble, and everything, and before a woman even bothered looking at your profile, they kind of want to look for it's the looks that matter first. And I know the guys only
Hmm.
care for the looks.
Right.
Do you think that's true? Because I think it's true, and I think some guys just have some bad photographs on their dating profile,
Yeah.
and they can't, and that can cause them from not like, getting some swipes to the right for
Hmm.
girl interacting. But no,
Yeah.
I think, but then again, for those guys who are average looking, they still have a chance, but they're going to have a hard time with the guys who are above average. And that's another
Hmm.
thing that I pointed out in the video, which caught my attention. Do you think that's true, or?
No, I agree 100%. I think your pictures play a huge role, because really that's all she has to judge you off of, is those pictures. So you want to make sure they're the highest quality picture that you can make of yourself. I like to say you almost want to tell a story. Like if it's, you don't want like 5 selfie pictures of you in the bathroom like flexing or something with no shirt. Like that's probably not going to do that well. You want something that shows maybe you do a hobby, maybe you're working on something or something you're passionate about. Just a
Mhm.
really nice quality picture of yourself. Um, and I think like it's funny because like the average looking dude, he could be not that great looking looks wise, but if he has an awesome profile, he can get a ton of matches. And I've even seen the opposite. I've seen where like really, decent, good looking dudes not getting any matches at all. But then you look at their profile and it's like, he's in the bathroom, doing the peace sign and shit like that. And then it's doing selfies. It's like, well, those aren't great pictures.
Mhm. Right. No, and then like I noticed a lot of girls, they tell me they get turned off by guys who have their shirts off in the photographs.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it, but I feel like if you have a photo with your shirt out off, I've always done it with me doing an exercise, or
Hmm.
me doing something athletic, or that kind of is in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I think you can
Right.
get away with it that way. But then there's some guys that just do the selfie photos and stuff. And I've had a lot of girls that told me, I should say, that that was just a turn off when guys would just show like pictures of their chest, because I guess a lot of guys do that on the dating pictures. But no, I
Sure.
definitely agree. Like my picture, I have a picture of me playing the guitar.
Yeah.
I have one me. I like to paint, so I have me with holding a paintbrush. Got one
Hmm.
with my dog and I. And then just me with a group of people for my meetup events that I host. And so it shows that I do a lot of stuff. Randall says here, working on getting in better shape before worrying about new pictures. Do you think like even though can he still get good pictures even though he's still working on getting? I think he can. Like,
100%. 100%. I mean, definitely still work on yourself and like work on getting in better shape, but there's there's still plenty of opportunities to get quality pictures even where you're at right now. Like I've met some guys that are a little overweight, and I'm not saying you are. I don't know what you look like, but I've met guys who were working on getting in great shape, but they had awesome pictures because it was like the camera they used, or they had really like quality looking pics, and they still got matches. So, it's never too early to start.
hmm right. No, and like I said, you could still work on getting in shape while you're enhancing your pictures. I
Yeah.
think there's no right time to like do stuff. Like life is too
Right.
short for waiting around. But I had that mindset too. I thought like, well, hey, I have to get this six pack going before I can
Mhm.
talk to these type of girls, or
Right, right.
I have to get my money up. Yeah, but yeah, still work on that, but don't let
Mhm.
that stop you from going out there and creating those experiences in your life. Start those experiences now. You don't want to
Mhm.
rely on waiting for something else to get done before you
Yeah.
accomplish something. So
Hmm.
especially like you can still work, get into shape, and you can still find ways to take cool pictures.
Hmm. No, I love that you bring that up because it translates into so many different areas of life too. And to be honest, that's held me back for a long time, like having the mindset of thinking, oh, it's not the perfect time yet, or I'm not in the right place mentally or financially or whatever the thing is. But at the end of the day, it's an excuse, and you're saying that because maybe you're scared of doing it, or you're limiting yourself in some way. There's really never a perfect time. There's never a golden opportunity that we all like to think there is. You just make the opportunity, and he's got to take the action anyway, because it's usually never lining up the exact way you want it to. He's got to make it happen.
Hmm. Right, exactly. That's true. And like just when it comes to women, like you don't like just continue to go out there, work on your game, work on perfecting some of your stuff along the way while because like you just don't want to waste your time. Like
Yeah.
because say you talk about, well, yeah, I gotta have money. Well, say you do get that money, you can always lose that money, but that skill set of talking to women will always remain with you. So like you don't
100%.
want to rely on that money as like a what is it, like a leverage to have you get
Hmm.
success. You want to rely on yourself as as you getting success.
Hmm. Yeah, like that. I had that same issue when it was like a couple years ago. I gained on some pounds because like I stopped going to the gym. I wasn't eating like super clean, and I would tell myself like, hey, I'm not good looking enough, or I'm not in great shape enough to start talking to women again or dating again. And that mindset like blocked me. It prevented me from going out there and just taking action. Um, but it wasn't until I really like learned that yes, looks are important, and I know that's such a controversial topic with dating. They are important, but when you just own yourself and like you walk up to a girl with complete confidence and certainty in who you are and what you want, I mean that really does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And then
Hmm.
obviously the better looking you get, you're going to have more options and you're going to increase that value that you have. But there's never a reason to not get started like right now, because
Hmm.
you got everything you need.
Hmm. So the guy here is saying he's like, I got it. So we're talking about photos, profile pictures. So he's got a marathon action shot, which is good. I
It's
could
good.
picture that. GI shot. Okay, so like military wise, and then
Hmm.
a photo with the dog. So yeah, those are just some idea. You're talking
Good.
about like showing your personality. So that's good.
Dog shots are money, man. Girls love dog pictures, so I would put that in like the second or third picture because those do really
Hmm.
well.
No, I have a picture of me and my Italian Greyhound. I always get a lot of
Hmm.
questions.
Yep.
What
Girls
type of
love
dog
dogs.
is that? But and then
Yep.
it also like I can use that as leverage to bring a girl back to my place too. You want to go meet the
Yeah.
dog?
Honestly, that's a good like jumping off point right there.
Hmm. But yeah. So I mean, that's very good. Now, I don't know. So what should some guys? Okay. So another thing that I guess I don't know. Yeah, do you think catfishing is a problem? Have you ever been catfished? Because I've been catfished, and that could be another
Yeah.
frustration. Not just guys get catfished, but women do.
Hmm. Yeah, I've actually been catfished before. I've only happened to me once, but I matched this girl, and she was like really pretty on her profile, and she was like an Indian woman, so she had like the dresses on, she had like all like that culture on it. It was yeah, I thought it looked attractive,
Hmm.
and I went to go meet her in person, and I remember like standing outside the restaurant waiting for her, and I saw this girl across the street, and she was waving at me. And I'm like, that can't be her. There's no way. Because she looked like she was like 20, 30 pounds over what I thought she was.
Hmm.
And then it ended up being her. And turns out that the pictures were like 2 or 3 years old. And I was super, super awkward on the date because now you have to sit in that because I was already there. So I could have, it was hard to just get out of that situation. But like sitting
Hmm.
there with someone that you genuinely know you don't like, and someone who obviously was like kind of lying to you, but before that point, it's hard to sit there and have a conversation and act interested. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing. I don't know how I don't know how I don't know how recent or how severe that is nowadays, but that happened to me probably like about a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm. No, I've only had it happen to me once, and that's like this girl. It was like a bombshell. Then she ended up being 500 pounds. When we met in
Yeah,
person,
man.
and back in the day, I was still kind of nice, and I just sat through the date for like 40 minutes and then left. But now, if that would happen to me, I just feel all right. I don't need to waste my time. I
Mhm. Yeah,
like what Riley says. I would have just left.
honestly.
Have you ever been catfish, Riley?
Just get the check and just dip, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
but
avoid
I
that at
don't
all
think
costs.
I don't think that's a big problem nowadays. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I do see like because like I think it can be like I think people are a lot more picky because they have a lot of especially the women because they have a lot of
Mhm.
options to choose from.
Right.
So I think that can be an issue because when they're dealing with all these options, they don't have time to date all these guys.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I would be extra cautious if I was a girl and like if I was in the different situation. Um, that's why a lot of the like really really attractive girls they're not always willing to meet you right away. Like they want to maybe do a FaceTime call or they want to talk to you on the phone for a minute just to get a feel for like who you are. And honestly, I don't really blame them because you just don't know what kind of dudes are out there. And like I said, there's double the amount of men on dating apps than there are women. So, just kind of screening out like to make sure you know who this person is. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Hmm. Right. No, I normally I do a phone call and stuff too.
Hmm.
But some, because I used to, sometimes I call these, met some girls on these apps. I call them, they'd be like drunk and then like complaining about their life. And like
Jeez.
back in the day, I'd listen to it because I was nice. Now I just be like, okay, I gotta go.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, no time for that.
yeah, no time for that. No, you gotta. But I don't know. Definitely, like my advice then is like, okay, we need to get on these apps. In order to weed out the girls that are interested. Ask the girl out. Right, if you match with them, maybe have a few messages back and forth, and
Hmm.
you can either set the date on the app or you can ask for a number and talk to the girl. I've done
Yep.
it both ways.
Hmm.
And I'm just I just started just you know being really direct with people on apps um you know about my intentions too, so I don't waste my time because I mean going out a lot can burn you out.
Hmm.
So when you
Yep.
learn to get good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the best thing is to just ask for the hangout immediately because, like you're saying, you don't want to be stuck in that back and forth messaging the whole time. You want to know right away if she's down to hang out or not. So, like 2 or 3 messages back and forth, then be like, "Hey, want to hang out? Want to get drinks? What's your phone number?" Anything that's direct and to the point.
Hmm.
You don't want to be stuck being the pen pal. I've been there too.
Hmm. Right. No, I hear you. So this is Randall again. He says, I feel like I'm the catfish. My current picks were when I was in better shape,
Mm,
but I'm working with Thor. Okay, I know Thor. Yeah, Thor's going to help you get back into shape. Thor's a nice guy, but he's been doing cold approaches for now.
yeah.
So Randall, how is the cold approaches, buddy? Like, is there something like we can help you out with with a sticking point you're having with the cold approach? And guys, feel free like anytime I'll look in the chat here if you have any questions. Like Tino and I would be very happy to help you out with anything related to what we're talking about, or just cold approach in general, or anything dating. So feel free to chime in with your questions and everything, and we'd like to help you out. That's
Totally.
why we're doing. That's why we're here, man. Just to give you some advice so you can just kind of level up in life.
100%.
But no, so I think like again, like yeah, you want to get off the apps like right away. You want it because
Hmm.
like I said, don't get stuck messaging a girl, and if a girl doesn't, if you try to take action and the girl's not reciprocating properly, then she's a waste of time. and you can just, blow her up. And, and then even when you blow her off, she'll still try to reach out to you again because she wants your attention. You can blow her, just ignore it, man, because it's just going to waste your time by doing that.
Yeah, funny story about that, because I recently matched this girl on a dating app. I think it was Hinge, and I got her phone number. We were talking for a minute, not too long, but I was like, "Hey, like, let's hang out." And she said that she would, but then never really gave me like a confirmation of, because I said, "Hey, what about this day? What about this place?" Never really got back to me. So I waited a couple of days, and I just reached back out to her again, and she told me some crazy spiel like, "Oh, I don't really want to date right now. I'm not looking for that. I'm sorry," but she was in a weird place, so I just was like, "Okay, that's fine." Um,
Mhm.
I let it go, and I just pretty much said, "Hey, if you change your mind, like, let me know." So some weeks go by. This was like maybe a month or so ago, and literally yesterday she texted me and she's like, "Hey, it's me again. Like, how you been?" I'm like, "Well, I completely forgot about this girl." But now we've been like texting a little bit today, so it's like there's power in just like kind of knowing what you want, and not being afraid to say, "Hey, like, I don't want to just be your texting buddy. I'm trying to hang out in person," like, because that's how you get to
Mhm.
know someone.
Yeah, and that's a waste of time. Well, Randall responded here. He says, so he's been mainly trying to get comfortable with carrying on conversations with strangers I meet throughout the
Hmm.
day, not trying to number close or IG close yet.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And then I'll give you my 10 cents, Randall.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's good that you're just trying to like start conversations with people. I'd say that's the first thing. I mean, I wouldn't even worry about talking to like the hottest girl or trying to, get her phone number immediately. I would just worry, if social interactions are just something that is uncomfortable, I would start there. So just start talking to anybody. Start talking to the bartender. You want to talk to the guy that runs the check-ins at the gym, like wherever you are, just like start random conversations with people. Get used to opening, get used to just making eye contact, and starting a conversation out of thin air, because it really is a lost art nowadays. And if you can do that, that sets you up really well when women come along and you say, "Hey, I like this girl." It's easy to go open her and just kind of start talking.
Right. No, and I would definitely agree with you, Rand, what you said, because that's what I did.
Mhm.
My mentor had taught me to just, when you're going about your day, say good evening or good morning to everyone. And
Mhm.
eventually, like when 'cause I feel sometimes, so even though I've mastered this, you got to warm up to it. I think,
Yeah.
after you kind of you have this brain fog from having a busy day,
Mhm.
you kind of got to warm up to it, even though when you master it. But yeah, just go out there, just say good evening, how's it going? Just and people are, you see, and then from there transition to that, like from there, like talk about, just start ask a question or something, and
Yeah.
just with anyone. And then when you want to get comfortable with just talking to women, you do the same thing. Like don't like I like what you're doing, not focusing on the number close or IG, but eventually, yeah, after you just say hi to a couple women, or I would recommend too, like get comfortable like complimenting them. Like don't compliment their ass or their tits or anything. You don't want to say that shit, but yeah, I would normally, I'd say, like if she has like a dress on, I'd say something like that, and I'd do like uh, compliment her hairstyle, or she had like a look, I'd say, like a punk rock look or something, and say something, and I'd kind of be flirty about it too, not too flirty, and then you get all thank you, and then you just walk away, and then after you do that, like a couple like repeatedly, I should say, but take it to the step further by asking a question, or just like after you make that comment, ask a question, just to start being social. Then once you get comfortable with doing that, go for a number close. But while you're doing all this too, still go about and just talk to random people, because the
Mhm.
more you get comfortable being social around strangers, the more you're going to be comfortable, when it comes to approaching women, as you start, approaching them more.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. You just start small. You know, start with just talking to anybody and everybody, and eventually you just build that momentum.
Mm-hmm. Um, as I like what he said, many of my dates typically ask me outright if I approach girls, and I ask them later if they like being approached. And unanimously, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like women are dying to be approached, at the right way. Obviously, you don't want to be creepy because that's where women say, "Oh my God, like I'm just trying to walk. I don't want to be approached." But women want to be approached the right way, in a confident way, in a certain way, in a grounded way. Even if she doesn't like you, she's gonna respect the fact that you walked up and said, "Hey, what's up? I thought you were cute, wanted to meet you." Even if she doesn't like you, she's gonna respect that.
Right. No, that's true. And like at first, like you're gonna when you're not used to talking to women, you're gonna project that, energy when you're talking to a girl. So it's going to come
Mhm.
off like that. But that's why you got to go out there and do the reps. And eventually, the more you go out there and do the reps, the more comfortable you're going to get it, become at it. But I mean,
Mhm.
I've realized too sometimes, like even when after you do the reps, if you don't keep up with it daily or if you get out of it for a while, even if you are consistent with it, you're still, some days you may slip back into your old ways of thinking about stuff, then that's when you challenge yourself, say, well, hey, you can't let your mindset or your feelings affect your actions. Like if you're a man, you don't let that shit affect you. You fucking find a way to overcome it and get up and do it. My mentor, Steve the Dean. I don't know if you ever heard of Steve the Dean at all.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
he told me like, so whenever I kind of get anxious, or sometimes I just picture myself turning on the light switch because his analogy of that was, well, you just did it. You went up there and did that. You weren't afraid of the light switch, you know.
Mhm.
Or he says like, he says, do you think, another thing he says, do you think about like, all the ants outside and stuff? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, then why are you? So I think about that, and it kind of puts me back in that state that like, why am I afraid to approach a girl? I think it's like I think what it boils down to, it's like the ego. Like, you don't want to hurt your ego when a girl says
Mhm.
no, and you got to learn to accept that when a girl says no, because like I think the ego gets in a way
Mhm.
of all that shit. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think guys don't want to face rejection or have the possibility of facing rejection because they have that ego and they don't want to feel like, oh, I'm not good enough or this girl didn't like me, whatever, whatever. Um, the reality is though, everybody gets rejected. Even the highest value man that you can think of, even celebrities, like they get rejected too.
Hmm.
It just happens. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the dating game. It's part of life. So I think the more comfortable you can get with rejection, the better off you'll be in really every facet of your life: business, social, dating, finances, anything really.
Right. I look at it. What I did an analogy of. I kind of look at like when you get rejection is you kind of compared to like going out there when you say you're looking for a new job,
Hmm.
and you a lot of places are going to turn you down, and
Yeah.
this is how it goes in life.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
love what Riley said. Riley, you're the man. Rejection is better than regret. That is so true.
100%. 100%. It's better to go about life being like, hey, I got rejected 1,000 times than looking back on your life and saying, "Man, I wish I would have took that action, or I wish I would have did this." Yeah, it's a much
Mhm.
better feeling.
Right. No, I know. I get that too because I think to myself, well, hey, if I didn't go out, if I didn't go talk to this girl because I was afraid to and worried about being scared, then like I might not have the chance to see if there's like a connection or energy that between the two of us, or if I can possibly get a date. Because I think a
Right.
lot of us guys just shoot ourselves down because we say, oh, we can't do it. We don't give ourselves a chance to do it again because
Mhm.
ego gets in the way, and you can't like let your ego get in the way. You got to. I like what Riley said though. That's good because
Yeah.
I would regret that. Like because
Mhm.
life is you like you think about when you're not taking action in your life, going after what you want, you might regret it. You might have missed out on a lot of opportunities. You know what? I just, had an aha moment. So, like, I was told actually when I worked, this job that I'm at right now, I was told that like when I'm hired in, I could not have a raise.
Mm.
But I had to ask for a raise because like the rent up here by 30% here. So I had to figure out like what to do. So like, right at the beginning of the new year, like I just said, okay, I'm going to see if I can get this raise. And, I asked for it and sure enough, I got it. And I didn't think I could ever do
Nice.
that. But, at the same time, I was like thinking, oh, it's not going to happen. I'll ask because I was told, but maybe see, it's funny how like, some people are just don't know everything, like, or
Mhm.
you got to challenge yourself. You never know what could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, don't reject yourself before you even get in the game. I mean, I forget where I heard that, but like a lot of guys just they reject themselves before they even have a chance to see if they'll succeed or not. Like don't take yourself out of the game before you even start. Because that'll mess you up. Don't go into it thinking you're gonna fail. Just try it. Try it. See what happens.
Right. Yeah, that's just what you gotta do. You just gotta take the action. I'd really try. I just try not to have expectations. I think I just try to see where
Hmm.
life takes me. Like I got to
Yep.
get in like my Buddha mode.
Yeah. You zened out.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like sometimes a lot of people they look into their past and they project into the future and they think the worst possible case scenario and everything.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
therefore that stops them from keeping action. Instead, when you can learn to be present and in the moment, you can kind of just go with the flow and see what happens. I think that's what a lot of people need to do. And that's
Hmm.
like I said, that's a challenge. That's a mindset you got to create for yourself over time. Like you'll have your moments when you do get can be present, then your moments where you just kind of fuck up and you go into the future or back to the past. And that's
Hmm.
when you kind of want to I mean, you got to just learn how to find a way to deal with it so you can move forward.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that you brought that up because like it's funny because I just made a video about that, about being present, about being like here in the now, because a lot of guys and myself included, I've had this issue for a while, like thinking too much about past situations or thinking too far ahead into the future. But, those things don't matter as much as what's happening now because the future doesn't exist until you can master the present. And the past is just a learning to what you can apply right now. So the better you can get, like being here and being now, I mean, especially if we're talking about dating and like being social with women, the more present you can be, man, it'll change your life. It really will.
Hmm. Right, because I think when the more you're in the moment with a woman, like a lot of it's easier for you to be confident, easy both sexually and
Yeah.
usually you're able to have a conversation with. You're able to be authentic
Hmm.
and that the woman will be turned on by that when you can learn to be in the present. Like
Oh yeah.
that's one of the major issues I had when I think that held me back a while is because I always project things, and I
Hmm.
still deal with that sometimes, but it's not as bad anymore. But you just project, you think you get caught up in your head and shit, and you think all these scenarios,
Hmm.
and that just holds you back. Like I used to like I used to like fucking not be authentic on dates and not speak what in my mind in front of the girl because I thought there was a certain way you had to talk to a girl on a date just to get
Hmm.
her to like you.
Yep.
And I learned that I'm just gonna be me, and that's how I'm gonna be. So like,
Mhm.
and it's amazing, like how that can, some women can find that attractive, and they'll know they'll give you a chance to filter out those women who are attracted to you and not attracted to you.
Mhm. Totally. I mean, it's funny because we're told not to be controversial, not to be polarizing, not to be like 100% authentic, but I think that's the best way to be. I mean, if you're just the best like version of yourself and like you're just speaking your mind authentically about what you really believe in, about your opinions, about what jokes you think are funny, what topics you like if you're just being real, girls are going to know right away, I don't like this guy, or yeah, I like this guy. And it's better to be one of those two ends of the spectrum than to be in the middle where girls are like, yeah, I kind of like him, I kind of don't. I mean, even just people in general too. It's better to be just totally authentic and not controversial for the sake of being controversial, but you just want to be real. You just want to be honest. And people either gonna hop on board or they're not.
Yeah, that's true. I like this comment here. Normal conversation between humans with flirting added flow. It's not science, but an art. I
It's true.
agree. It's all
It's
about
true.
flow.
Yeah, it's huge. Flow is huge. I mean, if you're just feeling in the moment and you're going with it, like you never know where the conversation will go. As long as you're present, it makes a big difference.
Hmm. And that's like the whole, like, like when you want, and I mentioned this in my book too, but when you're taking action, because when you go out there and taking action, you will develop that flow,
Yep.
whatever it is you're doing. And flow is very important because it just
Mhm.
builds like the momentum and everything, no matter what it is you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah, I have a funny story about when I got in a flow state, and I remember it like consciously because like when I was in it, I felt it. We went out to the bar one time, and I was with a buddy of mine, and we were just like making approach after approach after approach, just talking to so many people, girls and guys, everybody. And I felt like halfway through the night, it was more comfortable making an approach. I wasn't as anxious after a while. I didn't really care what anybody thought. I was just like having a good time. Um, Eventually I was just like talking to just about anybody. Like someone would be next to me, I'd make a comment about, yo, it's a cool drink. Where'd you get that? Or like, what is that? And it would just come out naturally. But because I felt comfortable, because I felt confident, um, I had to work my way into that flow state. But everyone can get there.
Hmm. Right. No, that's true. It just takes time, and you got to build that up.
Yeah.
So, any closing statements before we end the show here?
Um, I kind of like what we were just talking about. I mean, I would say like just focus on being present and just focus on like taking action no matter if you fear the rejection or you're very sure of yourself. I mean, just go for what you want in life. Dating, physical wise, business wise, finances, all the above. Don't be afraid of rejection. Don't take yourself out of the game before you start playing. Go for it. And just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, no, I agree too. Like I say, I think don't get frustrated. I think, yeah, use online dating as a tool. It's a good tool for meeting people, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it can be frustrating because like
Mhm.
it can cause like a lot of growth, and it just can. And I think it's like I mean, yeah, and that's the main thing that's in these days. And like, no one is, since they're comfortable with the online thing, they don't master the art of the, cold approaching or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So you like go do a dabble in a little bit of both of it, the online and the in-person approach, because that's really gonna help level you up. And like I said, don't when you're on these apps, don't get too overwhelmed. Try if you're if you get straight to the point with these women, and you should be getting straight to the point with them when you meet them too, because
Mhm.
like you don't want to waste your time. But message
Mhm.
for like send 3 or 4 messages, either set and afterwards set the date up, or just ask for a number and if you want to talk. And yeah, it definitely, like, with it's also, we're talking about the art of conversation and being in flow, but also the whole doing online dating is the art, kind of an art in itself. You want to have the photos that are going to capture the attention of someone. And yeah, you know what, and realize, yeah, there's going to probably women are going to match with a lot of guys, so they might not give it to you right away, but
Yeah.
don't let that stop you. That's why you do your online stuff. You find different ways to source your women, through dating apps, talking to girls, going to like events and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
don't use online dating apps as the only tool to get you girls. There's a lot of other stuff you can use on there as well. So definitely look into that. And I want to thank you for coming on to the show. And you can check out Tino on the Sophisticated Man doc. He has a YouTube channel, like it's in the little graphic here, and I'll put it in the post. And you can also go to his website, thesophisticatedman.com. And yeah, guys, thank you very much. Be sure to like the video, share it with everyone, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tino and I will be back 2 weeks from now. We'll do something like this, and then we'll do like a little Q&A if you guys have any questions that will help you out. And be sure to like, if you haven't already, check out my book. It's for sale on Amazon. And also, like, I have a link to a donation. So if you want to help support the channel so we can continue to create like killer content, feel free to donate. Much appreciated. This is all going to help make this show better, so I can come up with like do some research and, you know, enhance the studio and stuff just to kind of make it killer for, like, you know, when I do the live show. So until then, guys, thank you very much. I'll be on again this Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time with Proud Masculine, and we'll be doing a show on the 4 traits of masculinity that every man should have. So until next time, guys, rock on, and Tino and I will see you 2 weeks from now.
Heck yeah. See you guys.